Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
What a time to be alive here. It's the golden era of talk radio here in your nation's capital. It's O'Connor and Company at 7:36 this Monday, the 29th day of September, heading up against the end of the fiscal year. That means theoretically there could be a government shutdown. Technically, it's the Schumer shutdown. We'll give you those details momentarily with Matt Schlapp. Also at 8:05, General Jack Keane reflecting on today's meeting between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Trump and whether we actually have an end to the war in Gaza on the horizon. We'll get to all of that coming up in a moment. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock back from vacation. Welcome back, Julie.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Let's get to Matthew Schlapp. He, of course, the chairman of CPAC and the American Conservative Union and a veteran of the Bush administration. He joins us now. Thanks, Matt. Good morning.
Larry, great to be with you.
It is first in your role as a veteran of the Bush administration that I would like to pick your brain or perhaps implicate you, because you reminded me over the weekend with a text message that you were part of the team that sort of performed part of the vetting process of James Comey. So I guess I should ask you, what did you know then? When did you know it? And why did you let this happen?
Well, I'll say one thing. I lost that fight. There are internal fights that you lose. There were two I lost. I tried to prevent Mike Brown from being head of FEMA. I think history shows that was a good pushback.
Oh, Brownie. Yeah, hell of a job, Browning. Yeah.
And James Comey as well. I lost that fight as well. Look, I think most presidents want their cabinet secretaries to be able to pick their teams, and it's, in the end, very hard for White House staff to always win on these things. But the one thing we learned about James Comey is that I think he was a registered Republican at some point, but when we did the political check, all the Republicans said they thought he was a Democrat, and when you called Democrats, they thought he was a Democrat. So, and then when I met with him, he told me he was a huge Republican, a big supporter of President Bush. So what kind of, and then I talked to senior people who worked for him, and what you really realized about James Comey is it was all about him, all about his ego, all about his career, and getting the brass ring, getting that next big job. He would do anything to get that next big job. And as you know, you could see as FBI director, he acted much more like a politician than an investigator.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Matt, he's been sort of unhinged lately. The walks on the beach, the sort of vague threats to the president, the love of Taylor Swift. Oh, my gosh. Just embarrassing. I think several people think that he's going for an insanity defense here with some of the shenanigans that we've seen lately. But did you obviously were a good judge of character when it comes to Comey. Did you detect any sort of mental issues? I'm actually not kidding. I think he's a little unhinged. Did that worry you when you were interviewing him?
I do think he's incredibly tall, and it is kind of weird that he talked about being a basketball player and seemed to affirm that he was a basketball player when actually he never played any high school or college basketball. So weird. That is a little bit weird. But I actually think, Julie, I think you've got it wrong on this, and that's not usual for you. But I actually think what he's doing is perfectly consistent with what he's always done. He becomes the man. He wears the clothes he needs to wear to get to the next step. He's gone to the top in the legal profession, all the way to the top, right? Head of the FBI. I think he was the U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York. He got all the top jobs. Now, what's the next step in his career? I understand they're a very wealthy family. They've got all that they need. Now it's like, how does he get to the next status? And that's to be accepted by the glitterati and the zeitgeist and the Hollywood crowd and the New York crowd. Like, he's their darling. And so you will see him now. He's now applying for that job, and he's performing that task beautifully.
Our guest is Matt Schlapp, American Conservative Union and CPAC, and I do want to turn your focus to what will be the dominant story this week. Should the Democrats continue to insist on government-funded health care for illegal aliens and other little ridiculous unconstitutional demands to keep the government funded. You've had to live through some of these media stories about a government shutdown, which of course is not a government shutdown. It seems as though the narrative has changed, though, this time. It looks like Republicans know how to play this game, and they're on the right side of it. Or am I being too hopeful?
No, I think you're right, Larry. I don't think it's that we've learned how to play it any better. I think Republicans are still scared to death of shutdowns ever since the shutdown in the Newt Gingrich days. And I think they've overcorrected. They've been so scared of a shutdown that they signed off on all kinds of spending at USAID and everything else because they were so scared to actually do oversight. And I think they've come to realize that the potential political charge that, oh my God, you put federal governments on a holiday that they get completely paid for, they get all their salary for it, and 97 or 87% of the government is on autopilot, whereas the shutdown of Newt Gingrich, it was the opposite. It was like 80% of the government wasn't on autopilot, so everything really did shut down. Now it doesn't work that way anymore, and besides, who cares? I mean, who's the federal government employee party? It's now very clear. We don't have very many Republican seats in Maryland and Virginia, certainly nothing even near D.C. So, they own this 100%. If they want to fight to give health care to illegal aliens, have at it. I think we win that fight. I'm glad President Trump and Mike Johnson and others are making it.
Well, and Russ Vought, OMB director, who basically said, listen, do that. You're giving me a green light and a permission slip to start firing people. That said, there is a pretty contested governor's race in Virginia going on right now. That will be in the foreground as this battle looms. And could that end up being a benefit for Abigail Spanberger? Because it looks as though Winsome Sears has narrowed the gap. Yeah,
I fear that could be the case. As I said, the Democratic Party is the government party, and unfortunately, Maryland and Virginia, although Youngkin and Hogan and others have won recently, they're by and large states that benefit from all the business and the dirty dealings that go on in Washington, D.C. So it becomes hard for Republicans to win in those states under that scenario until common sense people realize crime is not good. Normalizing crime is terrible, including all the illegal aliens who are here and the costs associated. So, you have to hit bottom. It's kind of like New York City. If they elect this communist mayor, they're going to have, I thought they hit the bottom, Larry and Julie, but I don't think even know they hit it yet. I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
There's definitely more bottom to be had. Matt Schlapp, thank you for joining. By the way, you mentioned James Comey and the Taylor Swift obsession. Matt has several teenage girls right now as daughters. 3 out of your 5 girls are teenage girls right now. James Comey is more of a teenage girl than Matt Schlapp's teenage girls are.
Matt Schlapp understands Comey.
Yes.
I think that they seem to have a much more balanced view of life than our former FBI director. That's for sure.
They're way more mature
and that's
and
saying
realistic
a lot.
and honest. Thank you, Matt. Give our best to the family.
All right, bye, guys.
7:44.